Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Torchin with HCRC Staffing. We're the premier medical staffing solution for the chiropractic profession. And today we're doing another teleseminar. Many of you have already heard one of the seminars from a couple of weeks ago on the MD-DC integration. And today we're going to be discussing hiring an associate chiropractor for your busy chiropractic office and ways to structure it with salary and bonus, ways to set up contracts, ways to set up marketing, and how to grow and expand using the chiropractic associate in more of a win-win scenario and setup. Of course, setting up these protocols vary from state to state. So I always recommend using a healthcare attorney before you set anything up concrete. So if you need help finding a healthcare attorney in your state, I have access to healthcare lawyers in every state of the country, and I would be more than happy to help you with that. If you need help with that, simply give me a call on my cell phone, 267-251-5275, or you can email me. My website is hcrcstaffing.com. That's HCRC Staffing, short for Healthcare Recruitment Counselors. Okay, so let's jump right in. If for some reason, this is going to be about a 15-minute, 20-minute teleseminar. If for some reason I don't answer your question or I don't pick up on a topic that you were interested in, do not hesitate to call me tomorrow or the next day or email me at any time. The advice and setting up these systems, I'm more than happy to help anybody any way I can. So let me get started here first. I polled a lot of my clients about various questions that they have about hiring an associate chiropractor for their office. And I'm going to run through some of these because typically the questions are the same from office to office. So I'd like to pose a question to you. How would you go about finding an associate chiropractor if you didn't have a company like mine to help you? And I'll answer that as well. You probably use all the college job boards. You would post your job on there. You would get resumes. Depending on your state, you might get overwhelmed with the amount of resumes that you get. You might get frustrated speaking to some of these chiropractors because 90% of them are not going to be a good fit for your office. You're going to waste valuable time, energy, and resources in trying to find the right team member for your office. You're going to get frustrated doing so, and odds are you'll take no action at the end of the day because you just either didn't find a qualified chiropractor for your office or you got frustrated with the whole system. What I do is, in my process, is I eliminate all the frustration for you. So, of course, I'll use all the chiropractic college websites as well. But I have a staff that constantly reposts these jobs on there, so we always have front position on the college job boards. But besides that, that's a small part of advertising a job online. I subscribe to about 50 different paid job boards, and those job boards cross-post to numerous other job boards. So when I post a job, let's say a chiropractor wanted for Manhattan, New York, we get a lot of visibility. We get numerous people applying for it. I have a web development team that is constantly uploading and optimizing keywords in my job post to get us good visibility. So once we have candidates, I personally will interview every candidate for the office. And I weed out and screen out all the bad apples so you don't have to deal with them. When I have a good fit, depending on your practice model, whether you're doing an MD-DC model, you're an all-cash practice, very philosophically based practice, treating all athletes, treating all family members, whether you're Gonstead, Activator, whatever, I interview them based on what your needs are and then only send you the qualified people. So, if you have an office in Manhattan, New York, and if you posted a job yourself and you got 100 resumes, it would be hard for you to find the best person in 100 resumes. When I do it, we sift through all the bad apples and we only send you the top 5 people to interview after we interview them. Then if you decide you like somebody, and you hire them, now you have a great team member because they've already been pre-screened from our process. And I can kind of go over that in more detail with you at a later date. So another question that we get is compensation. How much do these chiropractors expect to make? And that varies. What their expectation is and what real world reality is. I think sometimes the schools paint a prettier picture of what they can potentially make coming out of school. But typically, you really want to make sure that your associate is in a good bracket. If you really have a good team member and you want to keep them, you really have to have a salary plus bonus in the range of $60,000 to $70,000 a year. Anything less, and I'm telling you, anything less, they're going to start looking for other opportunities, and they might find one. And then for a few $100 a week, you lost a valuable team member who is going to help you expand your current practice and help you open up additional offices, which I'll get into later in this teleseminar. So typically, you want to keep salary plus bonus first year out of school, second year out of school, 60, 70K a year. And my strategy has always been to be top heavy on salary and lower on bonus. And there's a reason why that strategy is better. Many of you know I also have, besides staffing, I'm also a chiropractor, and I have offices, MD, DC offices in the state of Delaware. And I've had the same chiropractic associates in these offices for several years. One lady has been with me for 7 years. The only way I'm able to accomplish that is by obviously a very good base salary and a good bonus structure, which is easy for her to determine. And that's key. So I always get the back and forth from both ends. So I speak to chiropractors who are looking for jobs. And when they're looking for jobs, many of them already have jobs. And I ask them, why are they leaving? And a lot of times it's always the same response. Well, the bonus that I was promised I'm not getting. It leads to mistrust. They start looking for other jobs. And at the end of the day, you're left scrambling to find a replacement. So I always recommend top heavy on salary, lower on bonus, and you got to make the bonus easy for them to determine what it is on their own. So, you might want to do a percentage on gross receipts or net receipts or, whatever. It could be a performance bonus based on therapy that they do or adjusting that they see or numbers that they see, whatever it is. You determine that. Always check with your healthcare attorney. I'm just telling you what works in my practices, and I've had very long-term associates, and what I see in other very successful practices around the country with all my other clients, what works. And this is what also the associates are looking for. So once you have a great team member that we've already pre-screened, and these are the top 5, top 10% of what's out there, you do not want to lose these people to another office. Because if they're that good, someone else is going to hire them. So remember, top heavy on salary, plus a bonus. But remember, make sure the bonus is easy to determine. If you want to run ideas on bonus past me, I'll give you my advice. Call me anytime. Never an issue. Okay, another question that I get from owners of offices is, what kind of training should I give them? What are they going to do in my office? And this is very important. It's a very important part. These chiropractors coming out of school, and I know you think that you want to just have them do spinal screenings after spinal screenings and after spinal screenings, and they have to produce and they have to bring in patients and yada, yada, yada. Marketing, sure, I get is an important function of the associate position, okay? What I always try to have them do is I have them do internal marketing. Internal meaning talking to patients about getting referrals in the office. I typically do not like them doing outside marketing. And here's the theory on that. If they get so good at doing outside marketing and they have the experience, the know-how, you train them how to do outside marketing, well, at some point they don't really need your office anymore. They could start their own practice. And that's why I recommend keeping them in the office, seeing patients, and doing internal marketing. This allows you the ability to leave your office, which is why you're getting an associate. Excuse me. And that's the reason why you're getting an associate. So you're not married. You're not glued to your office. You're able to go out and do lectures on your own. You're able to do a screening on your own. If you want to meet medical doctors in the community to generate new referrals, or you want to meet attorneys in your community to generate new referrals, that becomes your job now. Once the associate is trained on your system and he's comfortable or she's comfortable seeing the patients in your office because you've trained them, and you've gone over internal marketing in your office because you've trained them on that, well, now it's your opportunity to leave the office. That's why you hired an associate. You should not hire an associate just so they can go out and try to generate new patients for you. That process will not work. They will leave. They want to see patients. They went to school to see patients. They want to practice their skill. They want to get better. This is your opportunity to grow your practice, to look for additional practice sites, and then grow from there. And I can get into more details about that process at any point. Just feel free to call me. We can talk more in detail. But when you're out and hiring an associate, and now it gives you opportunity to leave the office, you can do screenings, lectures. You can also see patients in the office, but your associate can see patients in the office too, which gives you that ample time. And you want to consider opening an additional location, a satellite clinic, maybe 30, 40 minutes outside of your radius, where some patients just aren't able to go. A lot of times what I've done to open up several offices is I look for passive marketing opportunities. So I never really did a lot of lecturing to the community. I never did really any spinal screenings to generate new patients. What's always worked for me is meeting medical doctors in my community and generating referrals that way, meeting attorneys in my community and generating referrals that way. But a big referral source that I've been working on now, and it's working great, and it's really passive, is internet marketing, keyword searches. So for us, we'll use back pain, neck pain as keyword Google searches within like a 30, 40-minute radius of our office. And when someone in that radius clicks on a keyword, it brings them to my website. They fill out a simple web form, and we're able to close new patients that way. And that allows me to open up additional offices without having to spend a lot of time, energy, and resource doing screenings, lectures, and so on. If you want advice or input on internet marketing, or I can share with you ideas that I've done for that, what's worked, what hasn't worked, I'd be happy to. Just give me a call. But that's what I look to do when I bring on an associate. I build, every time I've opened an office, I build it to capacity, meaning how many patients can I see in a day. Once I'm at that capacity, I bring on an associate, make sure they're trained, have them see the patients to capacity, and now we're able to open up additional satellite clinic. We bring on another associate, have them work it to capacity. And it's always a high salary, low bonus. Bonus is easy to figure out, and they make more than most of the chiropractors in that area. Typically, my docs who have been with me, I'll start them out at 60, 70 grand a year with bonus and salary. But after, a year or two in, they're in the 80, 90 K range with health insurance, malpractice paid for, CME allowance. I don't make them do uncomfortable marketing or anything like that. If there's a fair or a county lecture I want them to do, then I'll have them do that. But it's usually not the norm. I usually like them in the office treating patients. And that's generally what works and what I see. Another another question I have is contracts. Contracts are crucial when you're bringing on associates, and especially when you're opening additional satellite clinics in the area. Contracts are going to vary from state to state on what you can and cannot do, but typically the premise is the same no matter what. You're always going to want to have a non-compete, and you're going to want to have a notice of termination or quitting clause. It's really a quitting clause. So, I do a 2-year, 5-mile radius. Really depends on, what you can do legally, what you can't do legally. I would not recommend you doing something so crazy with a non-compete. that it wouldn't hold up in court, but always check with your attorney on that. And as far as a notice clause, I always like to have a 60 or 90-day notice clause on their part. So if they wanted to leave my office, they have to give me 60 or 90 days, depending on the state and how long you think it would take you to find somebody. That's my recommendation. If you need help with contracts, I have sample ones that may not be valid in your state, but you can certainly use it as a cookie cutter. I have no problem with that, but I would require that you have a healthcare attorney review that to make sure that you're protected. And, the contracts are important. You don't want to make it so rigid that you're going to scare the associate away. Make it, when you read these contracts, you should, look at it to make sure that it's something that you be comfortable signing as well. And if you're not comfortable signing it, the associate more than likely is also not going to be comfortable signing it. So if you have a 100-mile non-compete, the associate may not really want to sign a 100-mile non-compete. If it's reasonable, they'll sign it. And I can tell you how I approach these clauses with the associate to make them feel comfortable. I go over the contract with them. I explain those two issues because those are usually the really only two issues in a contract that comes up is the non-compete and the notice clause. Once you get past all that, typically it's not too many other issues. So, feel free to call me anytime about contracts if you want advice on that. Never a problem. So, lastly, what I wanted to talk about is opening up multiple offices with the associate. And we kind of touched on this throughout the teleseminar. And this is really what I feel is the most important part of bringing on an associate. I mean, it's nice when you have one office and you bring on an associate. You don't want to become lazy, though, and just think you don't have to work any longer. Some docs, will take time off initially, take vacation, go to seminars, play with your kids, whatever. And that's all great. That is a nice part about having an associate. You're not married to your office. I'm able to travel extensively because I have associates in my offices. I'm able to do seminars. I'm able to lecture at different seminars without having to worry about my office because my office still functions because I have an associate, and that part's great. And that is a definite advantage and benefit of doing that. However, an even bigger advantage is the ability for you to now open another satellite office. So your associate is now up and running. He's fully trained. She's fully trained. And she's running your main office. Now you can open up a satellite office 30, 40 miles away or 20 miles away. It really just depends on your neighborhood and how rural it is or not rural it is. Now you can open up another office. You market that office. I recommend internet marketing, some meeting doctors, lawyers, or whatever in the area, whatever you like to do. I like internet marketing because you don't really have to get out that much, and the internet does the work for you. Again, I can share with you what I do with internet marketing, and if it's for you, great. I can make referrals for you who you can talk to. But now you're working that office full-time, part-time. You get that up to capacity. You bring on an associate to run that office. So now you have two associates. You have one in your main office. You have one in your satellite office. Now, depending on how entrepreneurial you are, you could look for a third office. It really just depends. But that's the beauty of it. So now, let's say you have two offices running successfully, and your job really, at this point, is working part-time in each office, making sure the patients are happy, marketing for both offices, make sure new patients are coming in, and acting as more of an entrepreneurial business person running your practices and not being a slave married to your current practices. I know many of you are so scared to leave your practice that you don't even take vacation anymore. And that's really no way to live. You have to have a good balance, and hiring associates serves that purpose. The associate's happy because they're making good money. They're learning how to be in practice, and hopefully you're able to form a relationship with the associate that they never want to leave because they're making so much more money than they ever could because you're marketing and they're seeing the patients, and you structured it with a salary and bonus that they're doing very well. You can even structure a bigger bonus if they're able to bring patients into the office. Or over time, once you build trust, you can have them buy in as equity, or you can give them sweat equity percentage of the practice. A lot of different scenarios you can run. I'm happy to discuss any of them with you. Okay, that is all I have on hiring an associate. We went over a lot in the past 20 minutes. So what I would recommend is if anyone has additional questions that I have not touched upon, or if you're confused about any of the topics that I went over, there were five. The first one was how would you go about finding an associate if you didn't have a company like mine? The second topic was compensation, salary, and bonus combo. The third was training. What are they going to do in your office, and what are you going to do in the community to generate new patients? The fourth was contracts, and the fifth was opening multiple offices. I hope this was helpful for everybody. Again, if you have any questions, you want to go over anything, you need a referral for a healthcare attorney or marketing programs or internet marketing, or you want to talk more in detail about hiring an associate, I'm happy to help. Again, my cell phone is 267-251-5275. That's 267-251-5275. You can email me at healthcarerc@gmail.com. And of course, the website is www.hcrcstaffing.com. Thanks everyone for listening. On behalf of HCRC Staffing, I thank everyone for joining me on the teleseminar, and I look forward to speaking to you at the next teleseminar. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.